This show is doing so much right, as even when a character succeeds and you think, wow, that's a victory, victories can still be failures, as we clearly see with Ikuto in this week's episode. He may have passed to the finals. He ended up in the top 3, immediately moving in to the final stage, which will clearly be a full-size piece of clothing that the wearer will have to actually wear, but at a much more exorbitant cost. I like how it's still a failure because he was ranked last out of the final 3 that would immediately jump to the finish line. I love that about this show, that rather than just saying a character who has a lot of potential just immediately gets everything handed to him because he's the main character, actually still struggles even when he does succeed. That's the little details that helps make Smile Down the Runway such a memorable and captivating experience. And hell, we got a lot of Chiyuki content in this week's episode as well, so that was just like the icing on the cake. Both these characters stealing the show, both getting victories in themselves. I mean, you can look at Chiyuki, she got a fashion job, but she's not the main star of the fashion job. It's more of other people dropped out, so she did get a victory, but still, it's a failure in itself all at the same time. I love that about this show. It really does know how to hit home victories, but also failures mixed into one beautiful package, which, for the fashion industry, being a designer or a top star for the model Runway, it is so much drama and conflict, and they are doing a beautiful job at representing it in this anime. I love the idea that Ikuto took a shortcut with his money because he wanted to give back the money that his sister gave him, and it makes sense. I mean, they're not the wealthiest of families, and he believes as the older brother, right, he should be able to do it himself. And it makes sense, it definitely is a pride thing, but at the same time, you don't want your family to starve or go without money for the essentials that they're probably going to need, especially if an emergency comes up. I mean, your mother's in the hospital, you gotta be responsible. But I like how, if he would have used the full money to get the best fabric, to get the best everything that he could do with the finances that they were allowed to use, there's a very strong possibility he would have had first place, because the idea was genius. Pajamas. This girl, Sarah, has basically photos of her in every location except casual loungewear. And that's something no one other than Ikuto would basically come up with, because he understands this is a person who loves fashion, and why can't fashion be in general nightwear and things like that? And the fact that he incorporated stripes, something that, unless you truly knew Sarah, wouldn't be able to just randomly implement to, match her personal preference. The design was so fantastic, and for the people who thought it was lame or just, it wasn't going to cut it, it clearly did, and had he not taken a shortcut, he might have had second, if not first place, and that says a hell of a lot about how a high school student really does have mad potential should finances and other things not completely hold him down. I love the idea that in this episode, there is this critique going on, where every time someone got up, 3 of the students in this class would critique alongside other people. And I love how, basically, everyone is just shitting on the designs because it's not their design. They'll pick out the most, smallest flaw they can, even if the design is amazing, because you don't want to make someone look better than yourself. Everyone's just shitting, and then there's Ikuto being like, that design's amazing, show me the back. That is so in character for him. And it's not even like he was just like being a nice guy. Like, he generally was like, that's a cool design. Natural response. He's in his natural habitat looking at fashion and being amazed. And I love that about him, and how the true test of this entire thing was, like, once you had your things all said and done, it was judged and things like that. You had basically comments made. Is it lame? Is it stupid? Or, just the things that, oh, the button was, misplaced. Do you want to touch up your design? If so, touch it up, and then move on to the next room. Everyone immediately gets up because they're like, you know what, this is my design, this is what's gonna happen. I love how the true test was like, do you believe in your design enough that you're willing to gamble on it? And the fact that Chiyuki was like, I would buy that design, and he reflects on that piece of dialogue, that he immediately goes in, and because of that, because he didn't doubt in his design because one person called it lame, because that's all subjective. What people enjoy about fashion and things like that, it's always going to be subjective. The objective layers to it is how well put together it is. Would it match someone looking for, loungewear, things like that. And I love how everyone passes because they didn't doubt their designs, but only 3 get to immediately jump to the finish line. This show knows how to do drama and those action set pieces so well, because this, for Smile Down the Runway, is an action piece in terms of how they deliver it, and just the conflict that it brings. Like, how could someone younger and less talented than me do this? Well, you didn't design something that a girl would want to wear, or something like that. It's just like, that pieces of drama and the hostility really does feel like a competition, and the drama that should come with runway modeling and fashion design, things like that. It should be a very competitive field, and they're delivering it really, really well. In terms of Cheeky's content, though, I have to say, that was really well done. I've been missing her, I gotta be honest. We've only seen her a little bit here and there, but to have her, like, for 2 years saving up a mad bank account, just trying her hardest, basically applying to every magazine out there, wanting to go to that Paris Fashion Week, and pretty much being held down, but it's like, she's gambling everything on this one opportunity, basically. And I love how the character who was so inspired by her debut on that runway was like, the one who picked up the phone and basically arranged for this entire thing to happen. It was just heartbreaking to see that she wasn't able to interview her and someone else was. I think it made for a better conflict because had this just been a fangirl, it would have felt easy. Even though she's been struggling for a long time, it definitely would have felt a little too on the nose, a little too kind of hand-fed to her. So it was nice to see that because she was just a random model, when someone more important walked into the room, as much of a dick move as it is, it makes sense on how characters abandon, just like, okay, we gotta go to this. Had someone not dropped out, I doubt Cheeky would have gotten that phone call, because I think it really was like, okay, you just happened to meet me on a day, that same day someone drops out and I need it. You're clearly attractive, you're not perfect for modeling, but you're definitely going to fit the bill, right? I like how this show isn't afraid to say characters, when they have success, a lot of times are just getting lucky. They met the right person at the right time, which is very true for the real world. A lot of times, getting into any major field, it's about who you know, not what you know. And for Cheeky's case, it's not even that she's perfect in every field besides her height, it's just like, did she meet the right person on the right day that they need a blonde character or they need this or that, right? So it's just really nice to see how they're struggling but also succeeding, but it's going to be a very hard path forward, especially with someone like Ito who needs money, right? I mean, he scraped by this time, and had he even, used the full money, he would still be out not only that money that his sister gave him, but now he has to save up even more money so he can actually buy full-on fabrics and things like that to make a full dress or whatever it is he's going to create. The fact that we now have him potentially switching workplaces, like he asks, can I work for you? Because he gets an offer that would pay him better. What's that going to do to the relationship? Because I don't feel like Ito's the type of character who would truly quit on his current boss. I feel like he would be the type of person to try to work for both while keeping it a secret, or he would, start to quit guilty, go back. I just feel like he's not the character to immediately jump ship, but at the same time, this is his one shot, so maybe he would. And I like that unknown factor about would he really work for someone else, quit his previous job that pretty much gave him every opportunity he currently has. It's going to be interesting because this is going to be a designer that people will fight over. Once he truly masters his craft, and he doesn't have shortcomings like finances and things like that, he'll be able to do a lot, and he's going to be in hot demand the same way clearly Cheeky will once she truly gets her breakaway and people can see that, yeah, she may be shorter than others, but as we can see with her portfolio, she lights up the images unlike anyone else. So it's like, that's what's really fun about this concept and what's happening with the cast, as when you get fangirls or you get haters in the classroom, right? It's so nice to see how there's like this mixture of positivity and negativity just kind of clouding the air, and you never know which one's going to be the dominating force in any sequence, and that makes it a really exciting adventure because it's always going to keep you on your toes. Once again, this show just brings that magic, and the fact that Chiyuki basically immediately gets confronted by her friends being like, what's going on with the bean sprout there? And she's like, we're not friends, but I respect him, because that's like totally in character for her, because unless it relates to her dream, she's gonna probably cut you out of your life. I doubt she's going around hanging out with these characters outside of school, but in the class, I'm sure, just general friends and acquaintances. You all have that when you're in school. But the fact that by the end of the episode, when she's basically wearing Ikito's dress, she admits that he is a friend to her. And the fact that probably the most important person in her life at this moment would be Ikito, because she admires what he's been doing all this time, but also really giving her opportunities she might not have had she never met him originally. Like, this show is doing wonders. It just kind of feels like I enjoy each episode just as much as I did the previous, if not slightly more. One of the best aspects I think that the production has going for it might actually be the voice acting, and how characters like Ikito, like when he's like mentally breaking, ready to almost like break down and cry, or he's getting excited, those little details and fluctuations that his voice actor delivers is just so wholesome or painful that it just buys into anything you're seeing. And when you see the over-exaggerated reactions from the body and just how they're breaking or being excited, It just brings a scene to life the same way you would feel if you're looking at an actor in a live-action movie delivering something that's supposed to feel emotional. I'm really loving the voice actors. I think they perfectly casted these characters in the Japanese dub, and I'm really excited to see how, when we really get to pure drama, and I mean like pure drama, I mean we've had some drama, don't get me wrong, but I mean those big moments that are truly going to crush a character. Just based on the delivery that we've already seen, I can tell we're going to be in for an emotional ride, both on the positive and negative end, and that has me incredibly excited for more. The series continues to improve, and it's a shame we're not getting a 2-core back-to-back for this show, but hey, we can always hope for a season 2, and at the very least, we still have another half of this season to go. What did everyone think? Let me know. For source material readers, anime originals like myself, let me know your theories, your speculations. What did you think overall? Please let me know. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy, and remember to hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.